Hi everyone, Nathan from MK Sports Talk coming back after a little hiatus, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on it, and so does my body. So Dunkin' Donuts, send me that commission check, and I'll be waiting for those royalties. So anyway, just want to run down today's exciting NFL Draft 2017. The Browns are on the clock, and as always, what are they going to do, and what are they going to mess it up with? How to find a Johnny Manziel somewhere and trade up and get him, but more on that in a minute. So just a couple quick picks. I'm not going to run down the entire draft because I don't know enough about each player to do that. So just a couple highlight players, notable names, stuff like that that's really going to maybe make an impact today. So Myles Garrett is the obvious #1 choice. I don't see how you can mess this up. I'm not saying he's going to be a lock to be Lawrence Taylor. However, if you can get a good defensive end for a couple years to really help with that defense and get after those quarterbacks, that's a very viable option. I know there's talk about Trubisky out there, but they're going to get him. You watch. They're going to get him. They're going to trade up, and they're going to get him either through the Bears, possibly the 49ers pick, or the Jets at 6. I would probably say that would be the good picks. Maybe the Titans, too, but I see them trading back into like the top 6 or so to kind of really get both guys because I know they want them both. So you got the firepower to do it, Browns, with all the picks. So make someone a good offer, go get your guy. And the quarterback's the most valuable position in the game. If you don't have one, you're not going anywhere, and you know that. So because you're obviously going through that now. So 49ers will probably go Malik Hooker or Adams from LSU. Both good players, and John Lynch has been a defensive back for so long. He's a good choice to have a defensive back. It'll keep some points off the board and maybe give them the ball to put some points on the board. If Brian Hoyer can put some points up for them. So they have a couple of ways they can go, but that's a good fit for them. So jumping down to the Jags, I don't see how you cannot take Leonard Fournette. Giving Blake Bortles a solid, thorough running back. I know they spent a couple picks and stuff and some free agency money on some lately, like Chris Ivory, but Leonard Fournette is a very talented back, and I think it'll get some guys more in the box, and you're going to open up the defense for some deep balls. So I think he's an obvious #1 choice there for the Jags. So just bump it down through a couple different players. Once again, I see the Titans either going with cornerback or wide receiver at this point. They need both. Both are going to be available. However, they may even trade out of this one. But there's a couple guys from, Lattimore from LSU, Ohio State would be a great choice here. Or they can go with any of the wide receivers. There's a couple different ones out there. Mike Williams is the name that's on everybody's draft board. He'd be a good choice as well, too. So they go a couple different ways there. Jumping down to the Panthers at 8, I kind of see them, a lot of mock drafts have them taking McCaffrey, but I really don't think he's maybe the best fit for right now. I think he's a versatile player, but, they looked so bad last year, so I don't know if they need help everywhere. The defense is a good option. I know McCaffrey's a versatile player, but, is he really going to fit with a very below-average quarterback? I mean, Cam Newton, if you look at his numbers outside of his Super Bowl year, have been very subpar at best. So I don't think McCaffrey's a good way to go. I think he should go down a little bit lower here, and you'll find some better spots for him. So Bengals will probably take a guy with a defensive mind, as they like to do, and he'll probably have a troubled past. The Bills can go any different ways. I would be very upset if I was Tyrod Taylor if they took a quarterback at 10. But there is talks of that, and I would really hate to see them do that because I think if they give him a couple weapons, he had a pretty good season last year, so I think they can go a couple different ways. So I don't think that'd be a good choice there. Dropping down, you can see the Cleveland Browns. If they don't get him at 12, I think they're going to probably take a quarterback. Watson will still be on the board, at that point, so he's a good way to go. Patrick Mahomes, I think he's one of those guys who's it's such a poor draft class for quarterbacks, so I think he would be a reach. But, they say he has all the tools and the talents, so I don't know if that's necessarily the way I would go, but he's an option there as well, too. Jumping down to the Philadelphia Eagles, I know that's my coworker's choice there, Nevin. That's his favorite team. I really see them, Mike Williams fall to them. I know there's a couple different guys, wide receiver-wise that can fall there, but I think that'd be a good way to go. Or take the best available cornerback as they need secondary help, too. The Colts, I really like Dalvin Cook. If he's still there, if the Eagles pass on him, I think that's a good way to go because they could really use some good help for Andrew Luck. Poor Andrew Luck. I feel bad for you, buddy. So, other than that, though, it's really going to kind of fall around. I know they talk about Kansas City possibly drafting Mahomes there, but I think that would be a mistake as well, too. I think you have a pretty good offense there and a pretty good defense. I think you just need some pieces to kind of add some more talent versus, spending a first-round pick on a quarterback for the future, unless you think he's your home run for the next 10 or 15 years. So that's I personally wouldn't go that way. I think they have other needs there, but just jumping down a little bit as we go through the first round, you'll see a couple fun picks and some names pop up there. The tight end from Miami will probably jump up there a little bit. See some guys falling like Cam Robinson, the offensive tackle from Alabama. He was the guy who was supposed to go as much as number 1 through top 3 pick, it mentioned as last year. So, and really kind of jumping down to the Texans is really my last pick here is noteworthy ones because they can go a couple different ways. They obviously need a quarterback after the Brock Osweiler fiasco, but they got rid of that. So you could go Mahomes here if you think he's the one. You could even jump up and you could steal Webb here if you want because he'll definitely be available, the Cal quarterback. So he's supposed to be the steal of the draft. So I would personally go that way too. But I'm personally hoping he falls down to the 49ers in the second round. But there's so many options here. Adoree Jackson. You can go a couple different ways here. And then it's really the noteworthy pick. So a couple guys to watch for. Just look for Mahomes to jump up. Look for some guys to fall. The quarterback from Cal, like I said, Webb, he's a good pick. So a couple different ways to go here. So enjoy the draft. Enjoy the surprises. Hopefully the Browns get both their guys because they need help. And Browns, we hate to see it bad for so long. So do something about that. Fix that. All right, guys, enjoy the NFL draft. Have a great day.